Kelowna, one of the most beautiful places in the world to live, surrounded by provincial parks, pine forests, vineyards, orchards, and mountains. Wouldn't it be great if there was a podcast about our love of Kelowna? Oh no, it's real. This is I Love Kelowna, an interview-style podcast about the fabulous and fascinating people that make up our great city and the Okanagan. Intimate conversations with entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, creatives, and anyone who has an interesting story to tell about how they're contributing to our wonderful home. This is I Love Kelowna, and here's your host, Luke J. Minkus.
So I'm here today with Shawna Whitney, and she is an entrepreneur, a talent agent, and a partner in the Teresa agency. And she's also a bookkeeper. Shawna's largest role in life has been to support those around her, helping to grow and shape the businesses and managers around her for success. And Shawna was an executive producer of her first film, The Perfect Pickup, in 2015. And I want to ask her about that for sure. And filmmaking has really taken a hold of her heart. Shawna has learned a tremendous amount in the past 5 years on filmmaking and the backend to the industry. So all the work that goes in behind the movies. She's been able to create some lasting memories and friendships that we'll ask her about for sure. Film and supporting good storytelling have become a large fascination of Shawna's that has led to the desire to help an industry grow within her own community, and that's Kelowna. So Shawna, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's great to have you. You first came to Kelowna in 1994. Tell us that story.
Well, 1994, I was an 18-year-old girl, just graduated high school, born and raised a small town in northern Alberta called Lesser Slave Lake. And I love my hometown, but it definitely was not the place that I wanted to spend my young adult years. And I'm not a winter person. And if anyone knows northern Alberta, there is a lot of winter. So I had family that were living in Kelowna. And we visited a few times as a kid. It was a place we loved to come. So I thought that's the perfect place for me to get away and explore and find myself, I guess, as a young girl. So that's what I did. I just packed everything I could into my car. Anything that didn't fit wasn't coming, or mom and dad had to bring out later. And I moved to Kelowna.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and then you left, right? You left and came back.
Yeah.
So
well, and I was here for 7 years, and in 7 years I got married and had a couple of kids, and they were just young. My husband at the time, it was hard to find work here as a young family, and that really paid well. And he had a really good opportunity back in my hometown, actually, to get into the electrical trade and start working full time. I moved back. I had a young family, and that's where my parents all were. So it was great because I got to raise my kids with their grandparents really close by. And it was good timing that way. I definitely missed Kelowna and the weather. And I always said, it's always supposed to be a 5-year plan. I always said I was coming back. Always said I was coming back to Kelowna. So I kept that in the back of my head. Life happens. Divorce, moves, everything else. We moved, the kids and I moved to Sherwood Park, and then eventually to Morinville, Alberta. And my now fiance, we've been together now for 8 years. And so we both knew we wanted to do something more than what we were doing. We're successful business owners. He had a company in Alberta, a really successful company, maintenance company in Alberta. And I did the books for him. That's what I had been doing at that time, was book work for the last 10 years before that, 10, 15 years. So it was a long time. But so I could take that anywhere with me, essentially. And his business, he could run from anywhere. We had good managers at the time. So we thought, let's move. The girls were at the right age. And we both knew we wanted to move to Kelowna. We love the weather. We love the lifestyle. Like that was a big thing for us, Yeah. In Alberta, you're chasing the dollar and you're spending all this time working, but you're not we just felt that the quality of life we were living just wasn't what we wanted. Yeah. And it wasn't what we wanted for the girls. And so we picked up and moved.
What year was that? When did
that was 2 years ago, actually. 2 years ago, 2 years? July 1st. Yeah. Yeah. So, and we don't regret it. Like, it's been the best move we possibly could have made. We've got 3 adult kids living back home in Edmonton, and we miss them, but I know they're going to eventually all end up this way. So we're we're making all those plans.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love starting the show with that question because everybody's got a story and everybody loves Kelowna. That's why the show is called I Love Kelowna, because everybody loves it. But it's always interesting to hear the different, routes that people took to get here or get back
here. Yeah.
Yeah. So you did a film in 2015. Was that while you were in Edmonton, Sherwood Park?
Yeah, it was. So in 2015, so a really good friend of mine, Danny LaRose, came to her hometown, Mornville, which is where my fiance Darren and I had been living at the time. That was her hometown. And she's been a good friend of mine for 10 years before that. And as a young girl, I put on a charity for the Northern Haven Society up in Slave Lake to raise money for a women's shelter. And I brought a band up from Edmonton, and she was the opening act of this band. And she was just a lovely person that I instantly was drawn to, just her energy and everything else. So we became really good friends, and I followed her for years. I supported her. And again, me supporting people and, anything I could do to just get her name out, anything I could do to promote her and help her with her business. I was there, her singing career. That's what I was doing, whatever I could. I told her I always lived vicariously through her. So when I found out she was dating this guy, I said, I have to meet him. He was a big actor out of Vancouver, and I didn't want to meet him because he was a big actor out of Vancouver. I wanted to meet him because this guy had taken a hold of my girlfriend's heart, and I needed to know who he was, right?
Right.
So they came and visited us, and we kind of scooted off, the two of us, and left the guys alone. A couple of rum later, we come downstairs, and we find out we're investing in film. Wow. We're shooting a movie. Never, ever in my wildest dreams. I mean, we were blue collar people. We owned a construction maintenance company in Edmonton. We are entrepreneurs, but film was something completely out of our wheelhouse. This is all new to us. The whole thing was brand new to us. So Chad said, don't worry, I'll walk you through it. Okay. So that was, I believe, March. And we had our first casting call in Vancouver in June of 2015. And we started filming August 23rd of 2015. It was amazing. Insane. Yeah, it was insane.
So an executive producer, you're really like the CEO of the film. So you're like hiring people, you're doing budgets, you're coordinating logistics, that kind of stuff? Or?
We're the finance, right? Executive producers are the finance. They ultimately have the last say, right? And then you hire your producers, your associate producers, your production managers, you hire all that, director, everybody. Yeah. Now, Darren and I, never having done film before, we put all of our trust into the people we were filming with. And that was Chad Rook, Nathan Witt, and their team, Carrie Dixon. We just put all of our trust in them, and good and bad, you learn along the way. The thing about film is that every actor has a script. Every actor has that dream of bringing their film idea to life. And that's exciting to me. And if a filmmaker gets the opportunity to actually do that, to see that passion and drive is amazing. Now, looking back, obviously there would have been a lot of things we would have done a lot differently. Yeah.
Give us an example, like without like revealing anything confidential. Like, could you tell us, like, is the hiring very different? The hiring and firing very different than
So we had an amazing cast, amazing crew. Like I have to say, we really did. What I would have done differently, I would have got an accountant right off the hop who knew film accounting. I would have got a really good lawyer who really had our back. Um, and I would have looked into more. I would have worked a little bit closely on with the sales team, and finding someone to really sell for us. Being new, you don't know what you don't know. So you find out a lot of things afterwards. And as exciting as a film industry is, it's also very cutthroat, and people are in it for themselves. So you have to be strong, and you have to really surround yourself with good people. And I have to say that through this, I have found some of the most amazing people who have now not only become business partners, but have become our friends and our family friends. So it's a ride.
So is that your full-time thing now?
Nope.
The film business?
Well, I wish. This is what we're working towards. So my fiance, he partnered with Gabrielle Napora, Yes Talit, Costa Vaso, Spenlu, out of oh my goodness, Imagination Park, or not Imagination Park, I'm sorry, out of Electric Panda Entertainment. Gab's old company was Imagination Park. But so Electric Panda Entertainment, he's partnered with them, and they fund and produce film internationally. So that's his thing. My thing, I was looking at something closer to home. And so again, I do books. I work for a company in town just doing data management. I do all of our books for our various companies. And about a year ago, I met an amazing woman. And when you click with somebody, you click. And when you meet really good people who you want in your circle, you find a way to make that happen. So, about a year ago, I guess, there was a young local girl here in Kelowna, Courtney Page, who was producing her film, The Color Rose. And my daughter's in cheer. And so a bunch of the cheer girls were asked to be extras in the film one day. So I went on set, took Kira on set, and it had been a few years since I'd actually stepped on foot of a movie set, and I just jumped in, and I was so curious. And some of the other parents were sitting behind. I'm like going right up to the screens and stuff, in the circus, and checking out what's going on, and people are like, "Who are you?" And I ran into some of our past crew, which was great. Met Alan McFarlane on set, who I was instantly drawn to. He's a producer, actor, stunt guy. And so got talking with him, his wife, and my fiance and I all went out for supper. And he brought his production team out for supper that night. And one of the ladies that was there was Teresa May Teschner. And so she was energetic, kind, inviting person who just was full of life. And you can't help be happy when you're around her, because she brings that out.
Right.
So we got talking, and she said she owned a local talent agency here in town. She had just opened that year, and she's very excited about it. And I said, "Oh, that's great." I said, "I have some daughters. Maybe I'll have to register them with you for to be extras." No plans further than that at the time. That was just, we were looking at what we were going to do going forward within the industry. I had no idea at that time. And then she called me in November. A production that was here was looking for 40 to 60, like 13 to 15-year-old kids to be background in film. And I'm like, "Oh, that's a lot of kids to have to find." She goes, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do." Just so happens I had started a company called API, which is Athlete Performance International, with a friend of mine in town. And we were trying to do a startup around mental health, athletes and mental health. And that's a big part of my, I guess, past is that something I'm very strong about as a coach in Taekwondo and seeing that. So, but because of Athlete Performance International, I ended up having a lot of different sports teams and whatnot that I was associating with and getting to know. And I thought, you know what, I have some contacts. Let me just reach out to some of these teams and see if maybe the coaches and the directors of the teams might be able to help us out. And then the cheerleading squad, you know, of course, I was going to try and get them all on there. So I start calling and emailing, and within 24 hours, her and I together managed to get 60 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then it's amazing, right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
But then 24 hours later, the production comes back and said, oh, sorry, we've actually changed the scene now. We only need 15.
So you had to call 45 people back to tell them, I'm sorry?
Yeah, like we just crushed these kids' dreams of being in film. It was so hard.
How did you decide, like, which 45 to crush their dreams and which 15?
I know. We had to go with the first ones, right? Like, obviously, first ones. And then Teresa's like, okay, so your daughters, because you put so much, because I wasn't getting paid for this. This isn't what I do. She was like, because you put so much time into this, I'm going to get your daughters in there. So that was how that worked. But it was, it was very exhilarating and an emotional roller coaster. But it was fun, and we couldn't believe how well we worked together just on that. And she's like, oh, I need someone like you. And she was pretty busy. She had the only talent agency in the Okanagan at the time. And that's why Teresa May Agency started, actually, was because there was a need. There was no talent agencies registered in Kelowna. There's over 200 throughout the mainland, but none actually in Kelowna. And she was approached by Adina here in town. She runs Okanagan background casting. And she's like, you're really good at this, Teresa. You should start this. So she had like open house, and she was overwhelmed with the amount of people that came to it. And so there was born Teresa May Agency. And so a year later, she needed help. Yeah. A year later, she needed help. And she's like, oh my goodness.
So there's really nothing like this in Kelowna besides you guys. Is that true?
There wasn't. I mean, there was a modeling agency, and there was other companies from Vancouver that were coming here, but there wasn't an actual registered licensed talent agency in town. Now there is. There's been new ones that have just been emerging, and you know, when a center becomes a hot spot like Kelowna is becoming for film, it attracts a lot of attention, and you know, a lot of people want to come in and kind of see if they can get a piece of the pie. So it's great. You know, competition is great, and I think it's really important. The Okanagan has some really, really good talent and untapped talent, I think. And I think now we're poised to be able to really showcase what we have. And as a talent, you're going to find the right representation for you. And so we're grateful to be one of the ones in consideration. And we're working hard to really make sure we're being the best that we can be for our clients. And that's all you can do.
So to be clear, you're a talent agency. So you're pairing up actors with producers. Is that accurate? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So basically, when a film is shooting, they'll hire a casting director. The casting director's job is to basically break down all the roles, all the characters that are needed for film, and based on what the directors and producers and the writers are looking for in the characters, they have to find these people. So what the casting directors do is they put out the casting calls to all the talent agencies, and they try to fill that. So they try to fill the audition rooms so that the producers and directors can choose between all of the different casts. So of course, the casting director themselves are going to get inundated with lots of people who are submitting their people, we're all vying to make sure our people get in there and trying to, you know, why are our people deserving of this and why do they fit that role? So, you know, that's our job to provide the casting directors with the talent for that role.
Mm-hmm.
If our talent is selected by the producers and directors after they're in the audition room, then that's great. Then we've done our
Awesome.
job, right? So
Yeah.
we get them in the room to be able to showcase their work and their talent is what we do.
Nice. And how does it work on the actor's side? Like, do they come in, interview with you, do a portfolio? Like, how, if someone wants to be an actor, they come and talk to you, what happens?
So we'll do an interview with an actor. So, you register online with us and, give us some information about yourself. We'll ask for your resume so we can see what kind of credits you have. Any actor, is going to have a resume, and we want to see that. We want to see any clips that you might have. So if you have any clips of past work, your demo reel is really big. So any actor who's been in various productions is going to collect all their tidbits and put it together in a demo reel. And that's really, really important as a talent agent to be able to get, those demo reels and those clips to be able to market. Of course, really good headshots. That's what makes you stand out. That's your calling card. So we make sure that we ask that, you have really good headshots and whatnot.
So if their headshots are junk, you could refer them to a photographer. Like, you're connected to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. As a talent agent, we have photographers that approach us and, and send us stuff. And we're lucky to work with some really good people. And we'll always recommend, we've got, 4 or 5 photographers that we're always recommending for different things. And, it can be expensive for talent, especially new talent getting started. It can be really expensive. A good headshot is going to cost anywhere from $250 to $350. That's just a standard industry standard, basically, for a good edited, proper professional headshot. So, you take that into account, plus any costs associated with all the different marketing sites that you might have to go on. There's Actors Access, there's Casting Workbook. All of these marketing tools are a cost to the actor. They're a cost to the talent agent as well. Like we have to make sure we're on all these sites as well. So because that's how we market you to these different casting directors and producers, is you have your profile listed there, and we represent you through these, and that's how we pitch you. Mm-hmm. So, there's definite investments that the actor needs to do. Of course, they always have to be working on their craft. I don't think that any actor is just born great. I think that some people have a natural ability. Some people are naturally outgoing and exude certain characteristics. Other people, it takes a little bit more to get that out. I'm a super shy person typically. This is an okay thing. I know this is okay, but you put a camera in my face.
Right.
No, it doesn't go good for me. And it's just, for me, that's something I guess I got to get over, but I don't want to be an actor.
Self-conscious. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with not being an actor. I'm seriously okay. I will promote the actors. I will try and better their career in any way I can. That's I like to uplift and help grow, but so
makes sense.
It does. Yeah. So any tool that an actor can give us talent agents is just to their benefit. If they're creative and they write and they start producing their own stuff, well, that just shows how dedicated you are to your craft, and it gives us more ability to work with you as a talent as well, because we know what you can do. Your actors they continually have to grow, and it's tough. It can be tough. Like, being an actor, you have to have thick skin.
Yes. If someone decides, hey, it's like you kind of ran into this business almost by accident. Let's say someone hears this interview and they say, you know what, something I'd like to try. Now, they don't have any clips. They don't have any, demo reel. They've got nothing. Like, how does someone get started? Should they take a class? Should they audition for an extra parts?
Yeah.
Like,
we take on new talent all the time, especially here in the Okanagan, and everybody has to start somewhere. And that's what I tell everybody. You have to start somewhere. You know, background work is a good place to start to understand the film industry. If you want to be a serious actor, any background work you do on it doesn't go towards any credits. You can't use background work on your resume really as an actor, but it gets you in touch with the people in the industry. And you start creating relationships with people and getting to see behind the scenes how it all works and how it's put together. One of the most important things I think a new actor can do is to definitely take some acting classes. You want to take not only acting classes, you want to take business classes. You know, it's a business. Being an actor is a business. And there's a lot of things you have to know as an actor and a lot of your own responsibilities. So I think it's important that you know not just the acting side of it, and how to break down scripts, how to get into character, how to portray your surroundings, but you also need to know the business side of it. So I think they're equally important. And there's some great, I mean, I know Kate Twa here in Penticton, they've got a great school. I know there's a lot of different, I know Angela Quinn, she's casting director in town. She offers classes. There's a lot of different opportunities. And I know Teresa and I are always promoting any workshops, anything that's coming this way. I brought up my good friend Chad Rook last January to do an acting class. He taught successfully in Vancouver for years. He's had 20 years experience. So I think he's just messaged me today. He's like, okay, COVID's opening, or things are opening up with COVID. So I want to come back out to Kelowna, visit you guys. Let's do another workshop. So, you know, he's been great. He has his own web channel that he does free acting tips for new actors, which is great. But you know, I know Alan McFarlane has some contacts with stunt guys, and we were looking at bringing a stunt guy up here to teach stunts. I think it's important to be for the Kelowna actors, especially, to have all of the opportunities that you have in Vancouver. And it's tough because Vancouver, there's a lot of opportunities to learn and to grow. Kelowna, you know, a lot of times you have to go to Vancouver. So that could be a huge expense. So people can bring the different classes and whatnot here, especially if you have some really good actors who can really pass on some great information. That's amazing. But I know that a lot of actors now with COVID have actually taken advantage of all the online resources and classes, which has been great because that's fairly new. I think online acting classes is fairly new. So I think that's really good. And anyone who has taken advantage of that and continued to stay working through COVID definitely is going to be further ahead than those who maybe sat back and took the time off.
Yeah. Actually, if you've got some recommendations, I would like that because I'm going to switch this podcast to video.
Oh, okay.
And I know camera presence is different than audio. I mean, it's an extra dimension, at least.
It is.
You know, so any kind of training or education is always a great thing.
Oh, absolutely. You know? Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely get you in touch with a couple of people and see what might work for you or you know, what you can take away.
Great.
That's what I do.
Right? That's what you do.
People. That's what I do. I love connecting people.
You're really an amazing connector. And
I try to be.
That, to me, that is so important. That's one of the most important functions in our world is connecting people.
It is. You know what?
Right.
So many people have been there for me and connected me to, I don't know how many great, amazing people. And I feel it's a responsibility for me to be able to pass that on. And I do. Like, I've got a friend right now who's working on I can't say what it is, but a really exciting thing for the Okanagan. And I've been connecting him with people all over Kelowna in the industry that I know. And, you know, we've got some really, really good. The Kelowna Actor Studio now is finally back in production, and they've got all these student films, and they're reaching out to us and like, we need some actors for these. And, you know, and so Teresa and I are excited and happy to be able to provide them with some of our, you know, newer actors, because that's a great thing. Student films are a great way for new actors to get themselves experience in these lead roles that you don't get paid, but you get the credit, you get the experience, and you get the footage, which can go towards your demo reel. And if those student films go to festival and they win awards, then you've just gotten yourself an award in a festival, which is huge.
Yeah. That's awesome. So is most of your business Kelowna? Like the talent that you're dealing with, is it all Kelowna or mostly Kelowna?
It's mostly
And the
Kelowna.
films?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly Kelowna. We do have talent that's kind of growing every day that are in Vancouver. Some that have lived here now moved to Vancouver or have just reached out to me personally, just because knowing me through the years or whatever. We have some talent now in Toronto. And Calgary and Edmonton. So, we're excited to promote and to be able to see what we can do as we expand. But primarily our client base is Kelowna, and we look forward to representing them and supporting them.
Right. And the filmmakers, are they mostly or entirely in Kelowna? The
So
filmmakers that you place with?
Yeah, no, yeah, the filmmakers, so they're all from outside. Like, I mean, they've just finished three these kind of Lifetime Hallmark type movies here in the Okanagan, and those
Okay.
are all Vancouver based. I think they're all
But
from out of town.
they're doing the work here, though.
Oh, they're
is
doing
what I
the work
mean.
here. They're filming here. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're filming
Yeah.
here. So that's the good thing. So this is the one thing about Kelowna is that these three films are three of the first films, I think, in like the first one that they filmed, I believe was called Untouched. But it was the first, was it Untouched? Anyways, it was the first film that I think was filmed in all of Canada. So all eyes are on the Okanagan when it comes to film.
Very
and
nice.
they're doing an amazing job. Like I have to say, this last one, Love and Romance Oregon, that just shot, Ingo Liu was the associate producer on that, and Gilles Leclerc was the executive producer. And I have to say, their team was amazing. Like they created positions to make sure that COVID regulations and rules were all in place. Safety was the very first concern that they had, and they made sure that they were following as many guidelines and as they could, and they were able to finish successfully filming. And that's a good thing. No sicknesses, no nothing. So I think that's huge, and a huge credit to them and what they were able to do. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So let me see here. I had a couple other questions. So you're actually a black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
How does Taekwondo differ from, say, like Kung Fu or different martial arts? Like, what is the essence of Taekwondo?
So Taekwondo comes from Korea. It's a Korean martial art that the farmers actually developed. So when they were occupied by, I believe it was Japan, the farmers needed a way to continue to train. And so they would come up with these patterns, and they would train in the fields under the guise of art. So Taekwondo is an art of kicking and punching. It's 80% feet, I guess,
right.
Probably 80% feet, 20% hands. You see some of the most beautiful kicks you'd ever see. Some of those, those headshots, KOs, that kind of thing. But I trained in the Olympic style, so WTF, World Taekwondo Federation. That's the Olympic style Taekwondo. So full contact. And I had a good friend of mine, Syed Najem, actually went to the Olympics in, I think it was 82. And he won silver. So it was a big thing. So yeah, my family has a rich history in martial arts. My dad started in karate, and he's a 4th degree black belt. And I was a member of the Taekwondo Alliance of Alberta. I was a secretary. So I was very involved in Taekwondo. And I think I fell in love with not just the sport of it, but also the art and the people. Again, creating lifelong friendships and memories that I'll never forget, and really instilling some of the values that I hold true today. Taekwondo has 5 tenets of Taekwondo, and I try to live them and try to teach them to my children as much as I can, especially, as a coach for years, and you have a lot of influence over a lot of young people. So courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. And those are 5 tenets that I think if you can live your life just following those to the best of your ability, you're going to have a rich and great life.
For sure, for sure. Indomitable spirit, how does that differ from perseverance? Like when I think of indomitable, I think of like persistence, perseverance,
Yeah,
tenacity. Is it different? Is it a
yeah.
different word?
Well, yeah. So indomitable spirit is nothing's going to break you. Like perseverance, you keep going. You
Yeah.
keep going. But indomitable
Unbreakable.
spirit, unbreakable. Indomitable spirit is something I think more in your heart as well. It's something that it's a life. It's who you are. It's the light that's
Hmm.
inside of you. The indomitable spirit is kind, compassionate, empathetic. Um, it's just it encompasses all of the tenets, because without indomitable spirit, like, where's your passion to keep going forward,
Hmm.
right? So
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. So the last question I always ask every guest is, who would you like to nominate to come on the show? So Teresa nominated you, and the only criteria is they have to agree with the title of the show. So if they hate Kelowna, they can't come on the show. And they have to love Kelowna, and it's someone that you enjoy hearing me interview. So it could be anybody. We've done, artists, lawyers, spirit mediums, real estate agents, like all kinds of people from Kelowna. So anybody that you would enjoy listening to, and they agree with the title of the show, and it could be more than one person. It could be 2, 3, 4 people.
And do they have to be residents of Kelowna?
No, they don't. I've
Okay.
interviewed people from Toronto, Dallas, Texas, like that. They agree with the title.
Okay.
I
So
love
three
Kelowna,
minds,
so
perfect. So three
yeah.
people automatically come to mind right off the hop.
Okay, all right.
One is my really, really, really good friend, Candace Chisholm.
Okay,
She's Kelowna resident here. She's doing amazing things with her He Changed It. Uh,
tell us a little bit about Candace.
Candace. So I met Candace a year ago, and when I was working with API, Athletic Performance International, and she just is one of these bright, amazing, uplifting spirits that you are very rare to find. And she has a passion, an absolute passion for helping people and bettering them. And she has created, with her partner Shannon Crabb, a amazing website app. Actually, I believe it's an app called He Changed It, and it focuses on men and mental health. And I'm going to let her speak to that, but I have to tell you, as any male, it needs to check it out, whether you're struggling with any mental health issues or not.
Mm-hmm. I think I interviewed Candace or someone from He Changed It.
Oh,
So I'll have to check,
fantastic.
but that's great to give a shout out anyways, even if they've been on the show.
Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. The other person that I think would just be amazing on your show is my good friend Chad Rook, who wants to come back out here again in August. He's ready to come out. He loves the Okanagan. This is his favorite place to come and visit and holiday with his wife. And he's really been enjoying his time here. Of course, we like to entertain him while he's out here and take him boating and side-by-siding and all that Kelowna
Nice.
has to offer. So
Nice.
yeah,
Chad
he'd be great.
Rook.
Chad Rook.
Chad Rook. Okay.
Yeah, Chad Rook. And the other one would be the other person would be Gabriel Napora. And Gabriel Napora is from Vancouver. He is the founder of Electric Panda Entertainment, and he's a filmmaker. And he has some really, really great things to say about the Okanagan. I think that he would really bring some great perspective to the show from a visitor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the film industry and what his passion for that and what he sees for the Okanagan. So
That's great. That's awesome. Well, Shawna, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
How do people learn about the Teresa May agency? What's the website?
The website is www.teresamayagency.com.
Mm-hmm.
And they can reach out to me. My email is just Shawna, SHAWNA, at teresamayagency.com. Or follow us on our Facebook page.
Perfect. That's great. So I put all that in the show notes. So if someone's listening on their phone and they're out walking, they can just tap on it. Tap on the link and go straight there. They don't have to type anything. So,
that's great.
But
awesome.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
I will tag you in the post when it gets published, and I also tag the people you've nominated, but I let them know in advance.
Perfect.
That you've nominated them.
Okay.
and then I tagged Teresa because she nominated you, and that's right. How we're growing the show.
Oh, so, great. No, that's fantastic. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great fun. Thanks so much, Shawna.
Great.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you bet, Luke. Okay.
Bye.
Luke Mankus is a realtor. He loves what he does. We asked Luke if he had any regrets about moving here in 2011, and he always says, yeah, one regret, and that is he didn't move here sooner. When Luke came here, he didn't know anyone. He didn't know the neighborhoods or anything or anyone besides his daughter, who was 6 years old at the time. So he knows what it's like. Now, he's an expert and has helped well over 100 single people, couples, families, and investors with their real estate needs in the Okanagan. If you're new to our beautiful city, Luke can help you get connected with great lawyers, dentists, carpenters, landscapers, swimming pool installers, you name it. And whether you're new to Kelowna or not, Luke knows real estate. He can help you find a great property, negotiate a good deal, and hold your hand all the way through the process until the day you get your shiny new set of keys. Luke is known as a no-pressure kind of guy. He's had clients where it took even a year or more to get them into a property. He just doesn't believe in rushing things. On the other hand, when you decide it's time to act, he's diligent, and he'll work day and night until the job is done. Give Luke Mankus a call or a text message at any time, 778-215-4273. Again, that's 778-215-4273. 778-215-4273 to chat with Luke about real estate.